The Dallas Cowboys just added Dalvin Cook to the practice squad today, and it blew up Twitter and social media. We're going to look at whether or not you need him or any of these running backs for the Cowboys for your fantasy team. We're going to deep dive the numbers, look at the situation, and everything else. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. Tap it with the finger on your thumb because we're doing these deep dives on these players every day. We're doing player lists. We're going to be working the waiver wire every day and helping you set your lineups. Click that button right now. Stop missing out. This channel's going to win your league for you. But Dalvin Cook's now a Dallas Cowboy, and that's raising a lot of questions. That's raising a lot of questions about these Cowboys on the social media front here. And Dalvin Cook, is he washed or is he on the comeback trails? That's another question that's not being asked because a lot of people are saying he's washed, but that's a question that's still being asked by some folks. But you look at this depth chart here. Zeke, Rico, Deuce. Now Dalvin Cook, who's going to be starting off on the practice squad. Maybe he gets caught up. Maybe he ends up getting cut. We don't know. But we got to look at this backfield here. We got to deep dive it. We got to look at it. It's also a story to whether or not Zeke and Rico are ready to be the guys here too. But looking at Dalvin Cook, he was injured last year, shoulder soreness, and on top of that, he's had shoulder injuries throughout his career. On top of that, we're a 29-year-old running back who's been in the league for quite some time now. We do have some pop in the steps still, but that's dissipating. The workout metrics aren't real anymore, considering he was in the league for a long time. But you look at Zeke and Rico, Zeke's workout metrics are just in the dirt right now. You don't even need to look at him. But the one thing about Zeke, he's one of the most reliable running backs in pass protection in the NFL. Rico Dowdle, when it comes to running between the tackles, compared to other running backs on the Cowboys, probably with the most potential over the long term. But Zeke's potential as a pass blocker in the passing game allows him to be on the field still, even though we know his best years are behind him. And looking at Zeke, even with the Patriots last year, that's how he got on the field. That's how he was able to deliver some production in fantasy football. Remember, Rico Dowdle, though, was sharing the backfield with Tony Pollard. He was able to give you some production, a few RB2 weeks last year. Good between the tackles. He's okay. He's not going to win you any leagues, though, because he doesn't have that upside. But anybody who's getting the bulk of the touches for any NFL team is a player that you're going to be interested in. But you look at Dalvin Cook's career here, multi-1,000-yard seasons there. Had a good run from 2019 to 2022. 2022 is not too long ago, though. 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. However, 2023 didn't look great. Didn't look great. And you look at his career from a fantasy football perspective from the start till about now, last year, you can definitely see a little fall off from 2020 to 2023. 2022, it was still decent, but you see more of those red lines, those RB3 weeks in there, mixed in, even though there were some injury issues in there. And then we get to 2023. Once we're out of Minnesota, the wheels fall off. However, we're coming back. We spent most of the offseason rehabbing from that shoulder injury. Is there anything left? 2023 says no. 2023 says no. But how many times have we seen running backs come back and deliver a little something, something? Not many times. But could it happen with Dalvin Cook? Could he be the X factor? Tony Pollard's gone. 233 rushing attempts is gone. That's got to get spread out. That's got to go to somebody. And the question is, why did the Dallas Cowboys make this move? It's not, do you need Dalvin Cook? Do you need Rico Dowdle? Do you need Ezekiel Elliott? Hell, do you need Deuce Vaughn? Why the hell did the Dallas Cowboys make this move? Because that is going to tell you the story of the Dallas Cowboy backfield and what you need to do with it. And if you can figure that out, which we might catch a press conference that gives us some clues, but usually when they talk in the media, they're very, very cryptic. And it's not even cryptic. They just try and talk like a salesman, not revealing information or anything like that, especially if you catch Jerry Jones talking in the media. Honestly, There's something that might be up with Zeke. That's something that might be up with Rico. When they're looking at both these running backs, they feel like they need to catch more pop in the step or more between the tackles. And then you look at the market at running back, it's pretty piss poor right now. It's pretty bad. Samaje Perine was the darling. He's already signed with the Chiefs. He was not caught for long, and he's already signed with the Chiefs. That's letting you know how dried up the running back market is right now in free agency in the NFL. That being said, there's other running backs that does have some upside, and they probably should have drafted a running back. There were some running backs going at some good value. Braylon Allen falling in the draft. He was giving the Jets a good injury discount. But we look at the Dallas Cowboys. We look at what they did last year. Tony Pollard getting a bulk of the carries, 4 yards per carry, and now we're downgrading. I think really when you look at this team, CeeDee Lamb has to stay healthy. If something happens to CeeDee Lamb or Dak, if something happens to this passing game, this is going to be a decimated offense. It's going to be an ugly offense. And honestly, when you think about Rico, Zeke, Dalvin, when you think about this, are you really sure about this backfield? Are you really sure you want any of these guys? Right now, drafters on Underdog are drafting Rico at round 10, Zeke at round 12. Drafters on Underdog has their ear to the ground more to what's happening in training camp and preseason. So Rico, they're seeing more upside. Zeke's got a little bit of upside because he'll probably be on the field in passing situations due to his ability to pass protect very well. And then on top of that, maybe goal line work as well, maybe falling into the end zone. He's great for best ball in those regards because he falls in the end zone a couple times out of the year, catch a couple balls because he's out there in pass protection, and you're not going to just pass protect with him. You're going to wheel him out a little bit to give some variance to the defense. He could give you a couple splash games in those regards. Splash games for him, 12 to 15 fantasy points. Rico, more consistent, steady. But again, do you really want these guys? Now that they're looking at Dalvin Cook. When they're saying, hey, we want to bring in Dalvin Cook, they're also saying, hey, Rico and Zeke, we're not 100% confident, and we got to add another running back who was not playing last year, who hasn't been productive since 2022. We're trying to take a stab at him. We want to see what's up. Can he give us some upside in his game? But redrafters here and multi-site ADP and ESPN NFL and Yahoo all average together. Average draft position here of where they're going in draft. Zeke is going round 10. Rico, early round 11. So they're close, but Zeke's going ahead of them. The market does not know what to do with these running backs. They just know they're in double-digit rounds. They're Cowboys running backs. Whoever's running the ball for Cowboys are usually scoring fantasy points, and it is very ambiguous right now. It is a very ambiguous backfield. The one thing about Dalvin Cook here going to the Dallas Cowboys is I hope it brings down the value of one of these runners, and you can catch them around 14, 15, 16 as your dart throw. Maybe you want to do it with Dalvin. Honestly, Zeke, Dalvin, they're not really at their highest moments right now. And Rico's highest moment isn't really going to be that grand either. And when you really think about this backfield, it's going to be rather dusty. It's going to be rather ambiguous. We do not have any young guy here with the upside. Deuce Vaughn has some juice, but the stature really isn't there. So you don't need this because you don't want this committee. You do not want this crusty, rusty, dusty committee. However, you want a cheap lotto running back, I suggest just taking the cheaper one, hoping for the best that happens. But there's a lot of good upside running backs that we've covered on the channel that I would advise going after. Just look at the other videos. Look at those double-digit round running backs like a Jalen Wright, one of those running backs with good speed, good size, a Marshawn Lloyd, one of those running backs who are right behind the starter, and if the starter goes down, could potentially win your league. We're looking at a scenario here. You're looking at some running backs here that could be just roster cloggers that might score you some fantasy points, that might help you, that could win you a week or two. But overall, even if one of those guys become the guy, hopefully one takes over and proves me wrong. Hopefully. But the odds are saying this is a committee. They're saying it's a committee in the media, so I'm not the only one saying that. And a lot of people are seeing this. A lot of people are very negative towards this, especially towards Zeke and Dalvin. But honestly, this is very crusty. This is not good. This is very stale. And this is not fun, especially if something happens to either CeeDee Lamb or Dak. It's game over. It's game over quick and in a hurry. They're not going to be able to move the football. It's a scary situation here in the backfield for the Dallas Cowboys. If I had to pick one, I'm just picking the cheaper one. I'm going as cheap as possible. And I'm going with those young guys with the upside. Dalvin's not draftable. No one's drafting Dalvin this weekend. No one's doing that. So if you catch him seeing touches and you're interested, if he looks like he's got pop in the step week 1 or so, and he's seeing the field, and it's early, and he's getting the touches early over these guys for some reason, and if he's doing that early, then you may want to jump on it. More than likely, you're not going to be into Dalvin Cook, and you're not going to be drafting him. You're not going to be picking him up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.